Hi all, this is take two for your video walkthrough for narrative writing, weeks 2 to 3. Sorry about the sound on the last one. I don't know what was going on there. Hopefully this one will record better. I just want to go through quickly what is required. So click with me if you like. We're going to start with the narrative writing module overview. There's some information about why you might use this. I suggest that you read it. Great for job interviews, for college applications, etc. Lots of applications for telling a good story. Your list of assignments are here for weeks 2 and 3. The only switch up is that the discussions are changed from Danger of a Single Story is in week 3 and discussion Our Amazing Stories is in week 2. This is just to give you some more time to think about what you want to write about at the end of the module. Reminder, there is no late work in the course, so most of you are really awesome on getting that last essay in on time. If you miss a few assignments, not the end of the world, but you want to just avoid missing deadlines regularly because that can tank your grade. Don't want that to happen for anybody. And if you're struggling, reach out, please. Okay, so first off, we have chapter 14 in Models for Writers. You need to have that textbook by now, and you're going to be reading roughly a chapter a week. And this chapter is all about how to tell a story. The information on your module pages is just to supplement that. There also might be some quiz questions that talk about it, so you want to be sure that you're reading both the web pages and the chapter. Narrative techniques, how do we tell a story? Once we've decided why and what we're going to talk about, then we need to think about how to do it. This, again, is just an overview. The book chapter has a lot more info on that. And here's a video for those of you who are more inclined to learn that way. I'm sorry, the voice is a little bit robotic on this, but this is a good video on how to organize a 5-paragraph narration essay. So definitely watch that before you think about writing your own. Your discussion is to start thinking about, after you've read the chapter, what might you write about? Okay, so you've read some good examples by this point. You've thought about what goes into a story. What are some topics that you could develop into a really meaningful essay? You want to have some sort of larger purpose. Okay, so something that helped you learn an important lesson or a struggle that you overcame, something that's going to be significant in your life for whatever reason. And there are some good starting posts down there for you to take a look at. Thanks to those of you who have done that already. Your quiz is on chapter 14. Okay, it is time to 10 minutes, so you are welcome to use the book as usual. Just don't do the reading as you take the quiz because you'll probably run out of time, but feel free to consult it, have it open, have your pages open, no problem. And that, I believe, is due by Friday. Your writing this week is to compare and contrast 2 narrative essays in your textbook. Those essays are Life in Motion by ballerina Misty Copeland and Salvation by poet Langston Hughes. They're in different chapters, so this one's in chapter 9, this one's in your reading from chapter 14, but they are both examples of powerful stories. I won't go into too much detail, but you do need to watch this video guide. The sound does work on that one. It will walk you through exactly how to write it. Be sure that you read all of the requirements because we'll be doing roughly one of these responses every 2 weeks. So you want to be sure that you're doing them right from the get-go and including all the components you need to get full credit. If for whatever reason you don't have your book by now, I won't do this for every module, but I have put screenshots of the essays so that you can still complete the writing for this week, even if you don't have the book for whatever reason. Here's a rubric, how you'll be graded. It is a 50-point writing assignment. And again, we'll be having one of those roughly every 2 weeks. And there we go. Okay, so that takes us to your next week. This will be due the following Wednesday. It's a TED Talk. This author is amazing. She wrote, her most famous work is the book called Americana. She's a Nigerian author, and she's discussing the danger of a single story in this TED Talk. The instructions are detailed for you here, so you can simply read those questions that are outlined and answer them, or you can talk about one in particular. What you need for the word count is 100 to 200 words. And just to note, in discussions, you don't have to do a header or a title, anything like that. That is just for papers and responses. Okay, initial post by Wednesday. Don't forget to respond to 2 peers by Friday. And in your response, comment on what they've said by agreeing or disagreeing and saying why, or saying what you have in common. Okay, so that is for week 3. Your chapter for week 3 is chapter 6 in Models for Writers. A lot of you guys actually mentioned in your last essay how beginning and ending writing was really hard for you, and that's super common. How to start, how to finish well is an art form, and it's something that you have to learn. So that's what we're going to be working on this week, introductions and conclusions in essays, but basically what are some techniques for beginning effectively and for tying it up effectively. Your chapter, again, has many lengthy examples for this. This is just kind of the Cliff Notes version, so be sure that you are doing the chapter reading as well. Your quiz will be, I believe, entirely based on the chapter. Okay, so that's another one that you want to have your Models for Writers book out as you take that. Time to 15 minutes, and that one has no multiple attempts. After we've done all of this, the whole point is that we are able to tell effective stories ourselves. So that's going to be your final essay for the module, your own narrative story, and it's going to apply all of those techniques that you've read about in the chapter and that we've looked at online. These are the important ones, so be sure that you're reading those and incorporating those into your own story. This, if you've had me as a teacher before, you're familiar with dead words. I'm sorry for the tone of this. I didn't make this handout. It's kind of a bit condescending. I don't mean to talk down to you at all, but if you can, avoid these words on the left-hand side and substitute with some other more specific words. This is going to be a way that you increase your grade fairly easily. Okay, so for instance, if you're using get and got quite a bit in your writing, then go through, do a Control F search and find every instance of that and substitute something else that is more specific. So any of these words, a lot is a common one, nice, mad, like, very. If you can take those out and substitute more specific words, you're probably going to get a better grade in this class and other writing-based classes. So that's a resource for you. And last but not least, this is where you submit your narrative essay. So this is a 100-point essay. It's the largest point value we've had so far, and that will kind of be the routine. The first week of a module, you'll read some models, and you'll compare and contrast them. The second week of a module, you'll do it yourself, and that is double the point value at 100 points. Okay, so the rubric for how to get a good grade on that narrative is discussed below. But basically, the whole reason why we do all of the readings, we compare and contrast really good examples is so that you can glean that knowledge for yourself. So pay attention as you're reading the chapter and also the pages in this module, and try to the best of your ability to emulate that in what you're doing in your own essay. If you are uploading a file, I had an issue with PDFs not showing on my computer for some reason, so if you can do a doc file, that would be easiest. But otherwise, docx, or PDF should work. And most of you are having no problems with the technology. If you are having trouble uploading for whatever reason, the Academic Success Center can help you with any of those issues. It's right next to the library on Weed Campus. And I believe that is all I have for you. So again, thank you for your hard work. Do the readings, take the quizzes. Everything needs to be on time. I am going to start closing the essays after the due date, which means you will not be able to submit late. I was a little bit more flexible on the first week because I know people are still learning, but you want to get those in on time in future so that you can get all the points possible, because that's what it's about, right? Okay, please, if you're struggling at all, reach out, email me, text me. I am super happy to help. And if you want to go with a peer tutor, the Academic Success Center or Net Tutor, which you can click on right here, has a bunch of resources to help you get started with your writing and also to help you edit. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a great week.